An economy full of noise, where every news media is putting their own spin and their bias on what they are reporting on, it is easy to get distracted and not realize what is really happening that will affect the economy, but not even so much the economy, but how it will affect your household and your personal budget. The Federal Reserve just made a big announcement, and it's not more so what they said, but what they hinted at or what they entirely neglected to say that is of much more importance and of significance on your economic outcome. Today we're going to be breaking down what was said, what was hinted at, and what was not said that will have major impacts on your household economic future, and how you must be prepared if it is that you want to weather this financial crisis that is looming. We are going to be looking as well at these tariffs that are being introduced and how they can very well sneak up on you and totally wipe out your finances or have major impact on your livelihood and the finances of your household. And lastly, but most importantly, we're going to be looking at what you need to do right now so that you can prepare yourself for what is to come. So stay tuned. Level life hacks, where we take the next steps needed to go towards our financial freedom and our success. Now, the Federal Reserve takes actions, but we must understand the significance of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is like the steering wheel for the economy and for every financial area within the country. So take, for example, the Federal Reserve increases their interest rate. All of the commercial banks, the car dealerships, financial departments, credit unions, the interest rates on your credit card, everything takes this as a signal to increase their rates as well. If the federal rate goes down, it is a signal that they can also lower their rates. So it is a better time for you because you will realize that car loan rates are reduced, credit card interest rates are reduced, and you'll also find that interest on loans are also going to be reduced because they are sending a signal that more money is needed within the economy so persons can go out and purchase more items and take out more loans. So therefore, it is of utmost importance to watch what the Federal Reserve does with the interest rate. Now let's look at an example to see how you are impacted. For an example, an increase in the interest rate. So say for example, you have a 6% interest rate on a car loan spread over 5 years. Your monthly payment is going to be approximately $580 per month. But if it were to increase by just say 2% up to 8% spread over the same 5 years, your monthly payment would be increased to $608 per month. That is a $28 increase per month, but over the lifetime of the loan, you are going to be paying $1,680 more. Now, $1,680 more might sound limited in and of itself, but if you were to look at what that can do for you in terms of groceries, or that could be 1 month's rent or mortgage, and if you were to spread that over millions of persons within the country, then you can immediately see the economic impact of that increase of just 2%. Now, what the Federal Reserve mentioned is that they are going to be holding interest rates steady at say 4 to 4.5% for now. However, it is what came out in the rest of the conversation and the announcement that is even more significant. Because why are they holding steady? Is it that they are watching and waiting to see what is going to happen? And what has them so fearful as to hold steady for now in anticipation of things to come? One main thing is that T word. And if you have listened to my content before, you will realize that what has been used as a clout throughout the international trading is tariffs. And tariffs are of utmost importance in determining the state of our economy in the future. Now, the chairman Jerome Powell did not just hint or merely mention tariff once or twice. He kept on hammering on the significance of tariffs, the effects that they're going to be having, and what we need to look out for and ultimately be fearful of. Because we need to read through the lines, because a lot of persons might be fearful of speaking out against the president, but they will drop subtle hints that you as an individual, looking out for your best interest and your family's future, you need to pick up on these hints. Now again, I'm going to be explaining what tariffs are. Tariffs are taxes that are placed on imported goods. And these tariffs are not going to be absorbed by the sellers of these goods, no matter what you might think or what they might say, because they don't want to be looking bad to their customers. But these retailers, these importers of these goods, they are not going to be absorbing those tariffs rates. The other thing is that there are no local producers of these products, most of these products, and there is not enough time for even some local producers to ramp up their production so that these importers can shift their purchases to these local suppliers and get it less. But even if they shifted to local suppliers, the mere fact that we started to source goods from overseas, it is that they were cheaper by origin because their labor cost, their overall production costs, were much lower than those that are locally produced. So therefore, even if it were to be switched to local producers, the price will not go down significantly. It will still be higher than what they are right now. So therefore, inflation is inevitable. It is common knowledge among economists that tariffs are an inflationary measure that once they begin implementing them, we are heading down to a path of inflation and ultimately recession. Now, why should you care about tariffs? It ultimately means that your income is not increasing at the rate at which tariffs are being introduced, so therefore your disposable income will be shrinking drastically. So say for example your favorite brand of washing machine normally would be imported at $700, but with a 15% tariff it now jumps to $805. And with a markup placed on that item as well, it is going to be seeing more of an increase. Therefore, it will be selling for $850 or higher. Now, that additional amount has to come from somewhere. So it is either you're going to be cutting back on your food, or you're going to be cutting back on your vacation, or cutting back on your savings and investment, but you are going to be impacted by these price increases. Now, let's look at what was announced regarding inflation, because yes, we said that tariffs are inflationary. However, the Fed's target inflation rate is cooling at, say, 2%. However, the reality now is that it is now at 2.6% as a headline rate and 2.8% if you were to exclude things like food and energy. That 0.8% difference might seem small, but it is, however, significant to the Fed. And if they did not see it as significant, why would they not lower the inflation rate expectation now? That's another signal that we need to look at and be suspicious of. The baseline, however, is that no matter how the inflation rate seems to be under control, tariffs can easily light that back up, sending the inflation rate into high numbers because, yes, as I mentioned before, retailers will not be absorbing those rates. What does it mean for you and what do you need to do right now? You need to put certain measures in place. One is that you need to pay more attention to your emergency fund. That is something that I have preached repeatedly on this channel. We have often discussed that you need to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Whatever your expenses are for 1 month, you need to multiply that by 6, and you need to have that locked away in a high interest yielding savings account. In a time of uncertainty like this, I would recommend that you increase that amount to 9 to 12 months worth. Remember that all the job layoffs and so on that are happening right now, you do not know if your job is secure as it were before. As a matter of fact, to go one step further, now is the time for you to dust off your resume, update your resume, and start testing the job market to see what would be the demand for you for other positions, because you are not sure what is going to be happening for you in your work right now. The other thing that you need to do is that you need to start stocking up on non-perishable items, and I am going to be having a video released pretty soon that I am going to be telling you 10 items that you need to stock up on right now to secure yourself and to secure your family. My next advice to you is that you need to invest wisely. The stock market is crashing, you are not sure where that is, but you need to stay the course. For several persons who are experienced in the stock market, they might very well tell you that now is the time for you to invest in the stock market, that prices are so very low. Look at Tesla stocks for argument's sake. They have plunged by almost 50%. So therefore, if you were to be investing, many might argue that now is the time to invest so that you can get those stocks at the lower rate, so that if and when they rebound, then you will immediately see an increase in your net worth. However, I am not a financial advisor, so speak to your financial advisor to see and determine the best way forward based on your risk aversion and what is best for you at this time. All in all, my viewers, what I am saying to you and what is hinted at is that we are in a precarious state right now in terms of the economy. The general economy of the United States will determine what your household economy is like, so you need to pay attention, listen wisely, and make strategic decisions for your family. As a matter of fact, that is another reason for you to subscribe to this channel so that I can keep you updated in terms of trending topics and different press releases from these financial sectors. I appreciate you giving me the privilege of your time today. I enjoyed sharing this information with you. If you know of anyone that might benefit from this information, please share it with them. And if you have any comments regarding what you think the state of our economy will be in the next 3 to 6 months, please place it in the comments below so that I can know what your thoughts are. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.